Hey everyone, Ryan here at Etrailer. If you don't want to have to deal with a dead battery whenever you get to your campsite after you're done flat towing, then that's what this kit is going to help prevent. This is made by Roadmaster and it is a towed vehicle battery charge line kit. And we're going to check it out, talk about why it's a good idea to use something like this. And we're going to show you how we set it up today on our 2020 Chevy Traverse. What this kit is going to do is really simple. More or less, it's just going to trickle charge or maintain your Chevy's battery whenever you're pulling it behind your motorhome. Because what can happen, you're over the road for hours on end, and your supplemental braking system that applies the brakes in your vehicle uses the battery power to turn on and actually apply that brake pedal. So you hit the brakes, you hit the brakes, you hit the brakes. It keeps stealing a little bit of juice over time. And a lot of these more late model cars now too, they have a lot of different types of accessories that use battery power even when the vehicle's off. You'll see electric assisted steering, electric assisted brakes, so on and so forth. And so, what can happen without something like this, you get to where you're going, the battery's dead, and then you got to deal with trying to jump it or charge it, bother someone to help you out, whatever the case may be. And so with this hooked up, it's going to use power from your motorhome's 7-way connector, the auxiliary power, which is on the coach to begin with for an accessory like this. It'll send that extra amperage back through here into the battery, keeping it charged up. Now, as far as, a lot of people ask, well, is this going to affect my motorhome or anything like that? And the answer is no. Like I said, that's what that auxiliary power is there for, to use something like this. And the motorhome has its own charging system, right? The alternator. So when that's running down the road, it's charging its own batteries and definitely has a little bit of extra to spare to send back here. The kit is going to use a circuit breaker to help keep everything protected. So the power from the motorhome will run up into the breaker through it, and coming out of it will go over to your positive battery terminal. So if a short or something like that were to occur, the breaker would trip and not damage, anything associated with it. Now, to compare this kit to some of the other ones available, they're all going to work. It doesn't matter what braking system you have or nothing, they're all going to get the job done. I happen to have one made by Demco here on hand. This is a great kit too. I've done a ton of these Roadmaster ones, quite a few of the Brake Buddy ones. And, if you were to ask me if I have a preference, not really. I like the Demco one because it uses a regular fuse as opposed to a breaker. So if an issue were to happen, the fuse would pop and, you could get it figured out and put a new fuse in it. It also, the Demco one uses a diode too to help prevent backfeeding from this battery down to your connector plug in the front of your vehicle. So that could potentially help with corrosion issues and stuff on the connector plug. But like I said, been doing this for a long time, and with these Roadmaster ones, haven't ran into an issue with them yet. So it's a simple component, and a lot of times it's overlooked. It's just one of those things people don't really think about until they deal with a dead battery or things like that. So pretty cheap insurance. It's something I recommend on every flat tow I set up, whether you have to have one on here or not. It's a good idea to use something like this. So really can't go wrong there. As far as the installation goes, really simple. It's one wire, right? Your battery, mount up your breaker, run this down to the front. That's really all there is to it. So take your time. You should be in pretty good shape. If this is something you're not comfortable doing, I completely get it. You can always use our dealer locator network to hopefully help you find a shop that'll do it for you. But if you're going to set this up yourself, feel free to hang around. We'll go ahead and get started on it now. I like to get our charge line hooked up first. And on the back of the connector plug, this post here in the center, that's the one that we're going to be using. You can take a small screwdriver, back that set screw out almost all the way. And take the wire, put that into the terminal, and tighten it down. So I got our charge line placed in there. If you're setting a charge line up, ideally you want to do that one first because it's easier. So charge line will go in the middle. But with that said, the way these work here is these set screws, you want to take a screwdriver and back them out almost all the way. And there's going to be 4 of them that we're going to be hooking up. And they are labeled. They're kind of tricky to see, but we have TM for taillight, so the brown wire goes there. GD for ground, so the white wire goes there. And let's see, this one is LT for left turn, so the yellow wire plugs into that. And then this one is RT for right turn, so the green wire goes there. Once all your connections are made, here at the back of the plug, take the boot, cover it up. And usually what I'll do at the very end, once I verify everything is working, I'll come back in here with some silicone and coat it real good to help prevent corrosion. But I want to wait until I know it works because if you have to get back in here for whatever reason, don't want to have a huge mess to deal with. So let's put this on for the time being and mount up the connector plug here. Now we can mount up our circuit breaker, and you want to put this, as close as you can to the battery. This spot here is pretty good out of the way. And you just secure it with the self-tapping screws that they give you. So I got one started. We'll run this other one in here. And then we'll go ahead and just get these nuts removed off of the posts there. We'll take our wire now and get it lined up with the gold post on the circuit breaker. The gold post is labeled battery, so you might be tempted to hook this wire up from here to the battery, but in this case our motorhome is acting like the battery, being that this is a charge line, so that's my reasoning there. But we're going to cut that, strip it back. We'll take one of these small ring terminals, place that over the bare end, get it crimped down, just slide that right over the post, put that nut on and snug it down with a 3/8, and you don't have to crank on these by any means, just get it snug. And then for this post here, we're going to take the remaining portion of the wiring. We'll strip both ends back, and one of them we'll put on a larger ring terminal. And then smaller ring terminal on the other end. We'll set this up on our breaker here. Small end will go over the silver post, and I'll get this tightened down. The big end of the ring terminal, that's going to get hooked up to the positive battery post. And so I'm going to remove this nut with a 10mm. Put the terminal over it. Just get it started again and tighten it back down. The kit does come with some wire loom. So once you are all wrapped up and everything, you can put that over the wires to kind of clean up the install look and keep it protected. And with that done, that'll finish up our look at and our installation of the Roadmaster towed vehicle battery charge line kit on our 2020 Chevrolet Traverse.